Going back to Butler, what did you study at Butler?
I started out as a voice major. I was studying music to begin with, and I kind of fell into that. I don't think I really I wasn't as passionate about singing opera as most of my friends were. So when push came to shove, I decided to do something different, and I went into secondary education. And I was getting a Latin minor at the time, so I thought, oh, I'll teach Latin. So I ended up graduating with a double major in education and Latin and a minor in music. And I taught Latin for like several years, 6, 7 years, I think, until
Whoa.
I had my first kid. And then I stopped doing that.
Where like is this like at a high school or college level?
I taught my first year, I taught high school, but after that, I actually taught middle school and elementary. I taught second graders through eighth graders for um, for a couple of years, 4 years, I think.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't even know that's like I never had I don't think like any of the schools I went offered Latin like from
yeah.
that age group.
Oh, it's
Wow.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Chicagoland area, but it's the North Shore. It's very, you know, elite, upper class, and so that's actually where I did all my teaching was up in the northern suburbs, and there were like 3 or 4 suburbs where they were teaching Latin from like second grade on, which is pretty cool. I think
Whoa.
I'm not sure if those programs even still exist because I actually left my job. They were phasing my job out at that time, so I don't know how many schools are still even doing that.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, because it's really cool that that to have that opportunity. I know my son who's a freshman, he's taking Greek, not Latin, unfortunately, but he regrets it because all his friends are taking Latin and they're like they love it. That's because it's the best language.
Yeah.
So whatever.
I have a friend of mine who's a resident right now, a physician, and his undergrad degree from University of Michigan was in Latin, and he was saying how it helps actually in the medical field because a lot of medical terminology is sometimes derived
Oh, yeah.
from Latin.
Yeah,
Um,
Latin and Greek, I think you really do. We get a lot of like the big words in our language from those two languages. Yeah.
that yeah, that's something that I never would have thought of. Like, do you still remember like a lot of things Latin related?
Oh yeah, and my daughter started doing Latin on Duolingo, so she was showing me that. I do remember a lot of it, and the other thing it really helped with too is grammar, because I feel like in my English classes, English is such a weird language, and the rules are not the rules, but Latin it's very specific. So learning about things like prepositions, direct objects, indirect objects was like so much easier to think about from the perspective of a foreign language, I think.